Hello everyone, I am Alessandro Sensameno from the organization of NSE 2020. It's a pleasure to be here for the closing and for the words for the conclusion. And there will be some speakers, some words, and the closing remarks from the organizers. Now for me it's a pleasure to call here on the stage, if we can call it, Anilkumar Dave, from Italian Space Agency, the Innovation and Transfer of Technology expert. Please, Anil, you can come here. Okay. The stage is yours.
Okay. Let me see if you can see my screen. Okay. Can you see it? Alessandro? I hope yes. Okay. So if you can see me, let me start. Okay, so let me start with today. Today in 1933 was a really bad day for Vincenzo because this is Vincenzo Ferrugia. He was a forerunner scientist, let's say, because he was in his own science, which was new materials, chemistry, and so on. And by the way, he was also a fan of Leonardo da Vinci. But he was caught by police in Florence. So this was not really a bad day for him. Let's say that in those years, he was working a lot on empirical science. And empirical science was basically what driven off the space and was driving out the evolution of space. Actually. In fact, we can say somehow that this was sort of the space 1.0 because it was very empiric, very, the observation of astronomy, the observation of space, and the observation of the universe. And only less than 50 years after that we started what we call as of now the space 2.0. That was somehow, the race of space, the race to space. So all the missions, we all know the mission Apollo, and we, remember the 50 years of the landing on the moon and so on. But basically, even Italy was there. In fact, in the early 60s, Italy was the third country in the world to launch a satellite across the space. This was a real, video from that historical moment. And Italy is also one of the best, world-class countries in space, and founders of ESA and many other international organizations. So at that time, the countries in space and those space 2.0, so the race to space were not that much. So Italy was part of the club of 6 countries at that time. So I can show you the map of the countries who were able to launch a probe or a satellite in space in the mid-60s. And what we were waiting for was a sort of new revolution that was the space 2.0, so that the construction of huge, big research labs for, the masterpiece of the world technology, because it was and is still the largest manufactured object out of Earth. And this was a joint effort of many countries. And this was also very important for us because of the technology that we applied to the International Space Station, to the ISS, was also deployed on Earth. This was one of the best commercial examples. So I don't know if you have one in your house, but you can say truly that this is a space technology down to Earth, and you have a space tech. You are using the space tech in your daily life. But we have many other examples, like the memory foam of the matrix, like the energy optimization system, like the household for the, if you look at the materials and used for the re-entry on space. At the same time, for instance, the powder mill. So this is one of the truly technology transfers from space. So why I'm telling you this is because when this is space 3.0, that was the research, joint research, we have also a lot of technologies come from space now to Earth. And this is now very much emphasized also in many other challenges. Also because the challenge now is to use this huge opportunity we have to the ISS technology and the ISS use of lab, expanded use of lab, is to use this also to tackle some of the challenges we have in the world, like finding new ways of water and air sanitation, like finding new ways of transit harvesting. Why we do this in a stricter environment like the ISS, and we do not do on Earth, because we have some specific conditions. We have some, non-binding conditions like gravity, for instance, or we have the possibility of doing extended research in some specific environments. And this can be used on Earth, because we have a place where on space, the ISS, where you have self-sustaining, you have self-energy, you have circular economy, you have all these things in a very unique and specific, constrained and harsh environment. And this can apply also on Earth. This is just an example to give you, but we have plenty of other examples, like the one example of technology transfer we had before. So if you look at the space station, the ISS, you see that also this kind of platform, they have the same problem from Earth. So this can be, again, something of, a field of technology transfer. So the 3.0 definitely is the one where we are living now, but I should say that we are living now in even more interesting times, because we are moving to the stage 4.0, which is, the commercial use, the opening to non-public sector, to the private one, the opening of the ISS to run commercial driven experiments and commercial driven activities. And this is very, very important, is a key point, is a turn point for the applications on space. At the same time, you see the private, in the space 4.0, the private entities can also work on new challenging missions like, the mining, like the construction of lunar stations, is just a buzzword we are now starting using right now, but also, applications of robotics, of AI, and so on. And moreover, we see, and this is of course, those data are coming from the pre-COVID world, because the world will definitely be changed after the COVID and the emergency situation we are all living. But we have private companies that are starting venture enterprises to build, for instance, commercial applications, commercial outputs, like hotels on space, or SAM, like the image you see on the right, sell services using public infrastructure, public upstream, and public products. Of course, we see, like this is something that we all have witnessed in the past weeks. We see private companies selling services, advanced services like long services, taking people to ISS, rights, selling from space rights to public organizations. So this is, a change of paradigm. So we move from the ages of the where we have some empirical, some research for the observation of the universe, so that was the stage 1.0. Then we move towards the 2.0, the race to space, where Italy was at the forefront of among the countries working on that. Then we fully deep dive into the 3.0, that is the joint research activities, and ISS is the masterpiece of this. And I should say we are living now in the 4.0, where we have the open of private investors and private entities. But the most important is how we change and how we design the 5.0, the next and the coming generation of space initiatives and space entrepreneurs. This is definitely one keyword, is the cross-fertilization. I should not say contamination because of the situation, but the cross-fertilization among the space and non-space. Those are some examples of technologies coming from non-space sector and using space, what we technically call human, but we have many, many other examples, like, on the software system, like on the mining, like in the microelectronics, the SPC, the high-performance computing, all the technologies and companies and know-how that were built for study for non-space applications, and we can now match and fertilize the space as well. Of course, one of the challenges in the space 5.0 is the huge amount of data we have, and literally. So if you look at the data coming from the satellites, data coming from space, and the data we have, all the match data we have on Earth, we have plenty of, let's say, the new oil, as normally the economists say, the data is the new oil, we have plenty of information in our hands. And we can do amazing things, really, like this, like a rescue big vessel using a combination of different data from space and non-space, and this was something that was unbelievable in the past year. So the new millennium is definitely opening new challenges. Of course, the 5.0, the space 5.0 is of course open for new challenges. We have the new plans and challenges again, like going back to the moon today and going towards Mars. You have all heard about the Artemis mission and also the agreement that Italy signed for the very first time with US being among the very first, if not the real first country in the world on joining forces for the new missions for Artemis 2024 or Artemis 2029. But let's see what the new US administration will put on top of the agenda. But definitely we are now entering a brand new area of space exploration. We have also new challenge on devices that are much more powerful of what we had in the past. So if you think that the data we have and the devices we have, like this device, this smartphone has, and this is not the very the latest one, but this has one of the same power to handle 100,000 Apollo missions at the same time. So just imagine what we can do with just one device like that. Another challenge is the competition. So the competition is that we have now, many countries. You remember the chart of the 60s, this is the chart of the 50 years later. So we have plenty of countries that are now activity space or have, satellites or are using space data. And this is the comparison between the 15 years between the mid-60s and the early 60s of this new millennium. We have also competition in the research. We have a lot of research organizations coming up on space. At the same time, the other big challenge, this is very near and dear to me, is the new generation. We have a new generation coming up that is a fully digital generation, and we have to make this generation also space and space aware. And new opportunities, again, part of the challenges. Those are two different images of the cockpit of Apollo, Shuttle, and Dragon. You see that you have many, buttons and so on, less than what we had, touch technology, a lot of different, new competencies coming up, like ergonomy, like comfort, like user-centered design, all things that 6 years ago were absolutely not part of the space sector. So we need, again, I should not say contamination, but we need cross-fertilization. The new millennium for space 5.0 has new challenges, but new opportunities. Space economy is a matter of fact, so we know the use and the amount of money that will be invested and can be generated by space economy. But the real good news is that we don't have only one actor or very few actors. So we are just moving from a situation where we will not have one winner that takes it all, because we have new opportunities for newcomers, namely for startups even. And we have also new grand economies, the new branches of the economy, like the economy of shadows, providing new services using the shadows and images of Earth from the satellite. The economy of positioning systems, for providing new services using the precision of the navigation system. So basically, the intersection is what matters. The intersection between the space economy, the old type, the 4.0, and the innovation-driven economy. So this is what we are looking for. This is just a very brief example of a workout that NASA made on where the space technologies could affect non-space sector, and we have just plenty. I will give you some examples, because this is one of the best examples I love of space technologies, video gaming, and so on, applied for an application that you didn't know that has a lot of space in it. Of course, I was talking about startups, so we are put in place also as an agency and as a space family in large, like the European Space Agency and so on. We are putting in place a lot of initiatives like the ESA Bits, so the Microsoft incubator for startups, like specific ad hoc initiatives, like technology transfer, like ambassador of some specific business application product. And Amaldi Foundation, one of the organizers of this event, is definitely one of the reference points. And of course, as a national agency, if you look at the space economy per se. We have already some success. So these are some of the startups we count as alumni of the ESA so of the startup incubators on detection of geocomputation and air sensors, land monitoring. So you just name it, you have a lot of applications. We are also working on a lot of competitions to support the startups like international, so the Space Entrepreneur Summit, like Active Space, but also local and European, so the Copernicus Masters and the Galileo Masters, and local, regional, national. Those are some of the competitions we support, also to help space startups. Stephan will tell you more about, because it's not easy task, and this is also something like I just put you on how the integration of technologies is of help for this. Of course, at European level, in Europe is one of the main events, main things. So we just approved the new budget. Let me just conclude with what space can do for the challenges we have, the SDGs. We can use space technology for insulin microphones. We can use space technology for sensors, for sensorized masks, for hospital. We can use space technology for robotic surgery, for telemedicine and telehealth. We can use for connectors for medical ventilators. But space is even more. I'm running down to close because space can provide new technologies. Those are examples coming from space to water transportation in developing countries, to provide light where there is no light, to provide new materials for prostheses. This is coming from space technology, to provide services for infants, for babies. Again, this is space technology from spacesuits or lens for analysis in developing countries. So space 5.0 is definitely, the beauty is activating multidisciplinary competence for a new innovation-driven renaissance. And we come back to Vincenzo, because Vincenzo was a fan of Leonardo, and Leonardo was definitely one of the genius of the Renaissance. Yeah, Vincenzo was a fan, but why I mentioned Vincenzo? Because today was a bad day in 1930 for Vincenzo, because Vincenzo was the person who stole Mona Lisa, Gioconda from France, and he was caught today in Florence in 1930. This was possible because after 2 years he was caught, but why this happened? Because at that time Gioconda didn't have a lot of space technology. Try to imagine now. You can use, for instance, the cupola glass of the ISS to secure and protect. You can use, for instance, the space vehicle forensic engineer for crack detection of the painting. You can use a smart material used for space to protect. You can use the satellite high-resolution sensors to scan the drawing and see if it is a fake or the real. You can see astrophysics image technique used to store the digital version, and you, of course, can use satellite geolocalization to trace. So I'm sorry, Vincenzo, you would have a really hard time if you would have tried to store Gioconda in these years. So beauty of space is allowing design of innovative applications on Earth we couldn't have imagined before, because space is definitely closer to Earth than we think. Thank you so much. I will leave the floor to Stephan, because we want to hear how startups can support, and this contamination, this cross-fertilization can be of value on the eyes of a VC and of an entrepreneur. Thanks a lot. I'll leave the floor then to Stephan.
Can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Anil. My head is just exploding. I loved your presentation, and hopefully it's inspiring to everyone that saw it. The idea here is there's so many opportunities in space, and so many cool things that I'm sure all the companies that have been participating in this event are looking at to solve, are looking to benefit. So my name is Stephan Reckie. I actually am Executive Director of GenSpace, and the focus of GenSpace is to put together a global platform that promotes collaboration and innovation in space. I also co-founded and run a group called Angelus Funding. Angelus is a trust-based angel network. So I think the purpose of my talk for the next few minutes is to give you the perspective of a VC or an angel and what they're looking for in terms of founders and also the companies. So the key word here is trust. So Angelus is a trust-based angel network. We're global. we're trusting because we know each other for a long time. Most of us went to high school together when we were little kids in the Bronx, in New York City. And it's important to leverage trust. So as an angel, it's important for you to know that it's my money that I'm investing in you, and it's my money that I worked hard to get. So if I'm approached as a bank, that's best, not a good way to approach me. It needs to be a personal approach. So remember, I'm not an ATM machine, but the importance is when you approach investors, whether they're angels or venture capitalists, it's a human transaction, people to people. So what we look for in terms of founders are, first and foremost, our character. We want to understand who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, whether you can do it or not, how committed you are, and do you tell the truth, right? So the important thing in the process is to, if there's something complicated or there's a problem that could be coming up, is tell the truth. The worst thing that can happen, again, it's building relationships. The worst thing that can happen is something comes up, you knew that it was going to happen, and you weren't truthful about it. So please make sure you're as truthful and honest as possible. And show in the process of getting to know each other. So it is a courtship that you're building a relationship with. So again, it's not a banking relationship where you go get money. It's a courtship of a relationship that you're going to work together. So showing who you are and understanding who the investor is. So what I really focus on when I talk to entrepreneurs is it's two-way. So there's a thing called diligence where the investor does information gathering about the company, about the founder, about the technology. The entrepreneur should be doing that as much as the investor does. Now, respect is important. So when you do your homework about the investor, be respectful. Also, try to use as much data as you can from the internet, maybe from the website. If you look at our angelusfunding.com website, we actually specifically talk about what's our thesis? What do we look for in people? So if you come prepared to meeting with the investor in terms of understanding where they are, who they are, maybe find some things that you can build rapport with. If you looked at my LinkedIn before you met with me, you can see where I came from. You can see how many languages I speak. It's important to build that relationship because after all, the most important thing that you can get besides money from an investor is their support, is potentially their mentoring, their contacts, their help with the process of selling, meeting partners. So that's where it comes to when we talk to opportunities and entrepreneurs, we see how coachable the entrepreneur is or how well do they listen. So in addition to investing, my background has also been sales. So the whole interaction between entrepreneurs and investors, it's a sales process. In sales, you have a particular goal you're trying to get to. So here in specifically when you're fundraising, there's an ask in terms of you want to get money, but you also want to get connections. So understand each and every word that you put out into the air, that there's a reason for saying what you're saying. Be calculating about it. It is a process of something similar to chess. You make a move, that move gets responded to. So the big thing when you do that is you have to be confident, and it's easy to tell when someone's confident. There's a borderline. There's a borderline of being confident or arrogant, right? So the big difference is knowing that you can do something or being disrespectful and blatantly showing that, well, of course I can do this, and actually making the relationship go sour. So listen well. So practice listening. And in my sales training, God gave us one mouth and two ears. So you should be listening twice as much as speaking. And that works on the other side as well. Make sure you build rapport with the investor in terms of explaining why you're doing what you're doing. And the purpose there mainly is if you can explain and share your passion, the best thing would be is if that investor invests in you because of their passion about what you're doing. As an investor over the past 8 years, I've looked at thousands and thousands of opportunities. And the thing that attracts me the most to invest in something is the passion, my passion of caring about why that product is going to be available or why that person is doing what they're doing. I have a couple of minutes left, and I just quickly want to maybe summarize the big don'ts. Hopefully you've gotten an idea of the big things to do and focus on. But if I look at the top 10 things or so of don't be dishonest. Don't lie about something that you know is going to come true. It's going to taint the relationship. Don't tell the investors that you have no competition, right? It's rare that you're doing something that no one else has done before or thought of before. So be smart and actually go out and analyze what's out there in the market first. Because my big thing is when I talk to an entrepreneur, I ask them in 6 words or less, tell me what you're doing. And I Google those 6 words. And I'll guarantee that a company will come up that does something that you didn't even think about. So think about your elevator pitch, your value proposition, Google that. And even if you think it's the most innovative thing you're doing, and you think there's no competition, but if you think in your mindset you're doing something with no competition, reality is an investor might be even looking at something else to invest in. So theoretically, even if you have no competition in the world, that investor is still looking at other opportunities, so you do have opportunity. When you talk about your market opportunity and you tell me that you only need 1% of the market to succeed, I think that it's confining. So avoid using that. I only need 1% of the market to succeed. Make sure when you commit to something, you actually meet those expectations. If not, exceed them. Right. So if you tell someone you're going to get back to them in a week, get back to them in a couple of days. Make it a pleasant experience that people would think of you as doing even better than you promise. Don't ever look for money when you're desperate. It's just like don't go shopping in a supermarket when you're hungry. Again, don't be arrogant, and really, really make sure that you're listening. So in summary, I know I'm wrapping up quickly here. What we're looking for are founders that are really focused on building a great team around them. I'm not trying to dissuade people that are single person companies, but really to execute a business idea versus just having an idea, you need a team. So we're looking for founders that are willing to hire other people, work together, share their passion with them, and ideally have similar values in terms of the goals, the ethics, the drive of why they're doing what they're doing. Another thing to focus on is, as a founder, you should be talking more about the execution or how are you going to be doing what your idea is versus just saying, I have the best idea in the world. We clearly say on our website, we do not invest in ideas, but we invest in businesses based on ideas. And if I can leave with one last thing, we look for founders that are curious, that want to constantly and consistently talk to their customers. So when you talk to investors, it's a great thing to either mention that you have customer validation, if you have quotes, or just specifically say you've spoken to customers. Now I know in the space business, you might think, oh, well, it's hard because there's only a couple of customers, but Anil did a great job at saying what you can do in space can impact the world. So what we're looking for is folks that are consistently and constantly talking to their customers that are going to be real, that are going to be converting to revenue. So again, if it's an idea, you can't really quantify the amount of revenue you're going to get. And with this last sentence, investors invest ideally because they're going to get a return from their investment. So if it's a business and its ability to quantify what that investment is, that's going to really meet all the goals. So I think I'm running out of time, and I wanted to pass the baton over to Cristina. And I really appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to either chat or send me a message. Thank you, and welcome, Cristina.
Hi, Stefan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much for your interesting presentation.
Thank you, and it was an honor as well. Thank you.
So, good afternoon to the audience and to the exhibitors. It's a great pleasure to be here today with such many experts, and it was really a great deep experience for all of us. We also received so many great pitches, and 19 have been included into the final evaluations. We saw plenty powerful ideas, and it was a hard work to select the best ones. And in accordance with the jury, we want to present you in a random order 4 best pitches, and then we will go throughout the announcement of the winners. So please, Alessandro, let's start with the pitch of Celestial.
Hello everybody, my name is Johannes. I'm one of the co-founders of Celestial. And Celestial develops telecommunication for deep space, especially for the moon. But along our technology development, we recognize that we can and we should commercialize our technology sooner. So right now, we are offering an S-band patch antenna for small satellites. We have an off-the-shelf available basic model, but also a custom engineering service. So the value proposition behind it is that we will tailor our basic model to the mission requirements of the customer for ideal performance, and we make integration with the satellite very easy. Comparing to our competition, our patch antenna is very high gain. It's very thin and it's very small, so it's very high efficient antenna. Yet it is still very low cost. It's exactly what small satellites are looking for. The market for this are the 7,000 projected satellites to go into the orbit by 2027. That's a €200 million market, and out of those, we're targeting small satellite missions, single satellite missions, because of the very low cost, high efficient antenna, which is exactly what small satellites with low power budgets need. We have won a few international awards. We are currently in ESA BIC. We have first LOIs with customers and also first LOIs with distribution partners. So in this market, we are very high upstream focus in the value chain as a supplier of communication subsystems. And we deliver this to satellite developers to integrate subsystems. And based on this, we have very close collaboration on customizations. Since we are offering an engineering service, we will have in-depth discussions to align our development goals with the mission requirements, and we will also offer integration support. For next year, based on our existing patch antenna, we're looking to develop the technology for phased array antennas. So these antennas are very, very interesting and highly interesting for many different applications. And the mobility applications alone is projected to be a €10 billion market. For next year, we're also looking for €300,000 in funding, and this is supposed to complement the €150,000 grant we have been approved for by Luxembourg, and we're also looking to raise funds from ESA programs such as ARTIS. Our team, myself, I am a manufacturing engineer, I also have a management background. My co-founder is a space engineer, and we have 4 master level students who support us in business development, technology development, and marketing and sales. So thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Now we will going to present the pitch of Neutron.
Hello, my name is Marcus Collier. I'm co-founder and CTO of Neutron Star Systems, and I'm here to tell you about our disruptive electric propulsion technology. With us, the future is electric. The problem we're solving is that today's in-orbit propulsion systems are not suitable for high-power space missions. Chemical systems have very low efficiency, which means that 2/3 of the spacecraft mass has to be fuel, leaving little room for useful payload. Electric systems have much higher efficiency, but they also have several fundamental drawbacks. They rely on expensive propellants, they have narrow operating range, and they're not scalable beyond 20 kilowatts. The solution that we're bringing is called Supreme. This is a next-generation propulsion system based on a combination of MPD thrusters and high-temperature superconductors. So Supreme uses propellants which are 100 times cheaper, with a much wider operating range and a greatly increased scalability, saving up to €300 million per mission. Here is our prototype MPD thruster operating at the University of Stuttgart. The plasma plume is being accelerated by a copper electromagnet, and we are replacing this with a superconducting magnet, enabling a reduction in the mass and the power consumption of the magnet and the generation of much stronger magnetic fields, leading to increases in thruster performance and lifetime. In terms of competition, status quo electric propulsion systems such as grid transport and Hall effect vectors are provided by several companies. However, these technologies are limited to providing either high thrust or high efficiency operation. Supreme offers the best of both worlds. We can offer efficiency, we can offer high thrust, and we can offer what is best fit for our customers' needs. Our go-to-market strategy considers three main steps. First, we secure technology endorsements from potential customers. We then enter into cooperation and MOU agreements, and finally, we secure co-development without payment contracts, which we have done so far with the EU, ESA, and the UK Space Agency. Now, this year alone, over 10 million euros of public funding has been dedicated to the development of superconductors and MPD thrust for space applications. This amazing market traction is the confirmation that we are in the right place and the right time to bring Supreme to the market. There is a huge market opportunity for our thrust technology, both in established market segments such as small satellites and geosatellites, and emerging markets such as lunar services and space debris removal. All of these markets will grow to multi-billion-dollar sizes by 2027. We're looking for 2.8 million euros to operate for 24 months, during which time we will build technology demonstrators to TRL6, secure key intellectual property, and close commercial agreements with our existing customers. Our founding team brings over 8 years of combined expertise on materials, high-temperature superconductors, electric propulsion systems, and spacecraft systems engineering. And our partner, Professor Georg Hendrik, is the leading authority on MPD thrust technology in Europe. Our startup team, Space Pioneers, shares our vision, and with them, we will bring this game-changing technology to the market and disrupt the future of spaceflight. With us, the future is electric.
Now we will going to present Picosat.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anna. I've been working in the space field for more than 20 years, and I can proudly say that I was a key person that belonged to Picosat, one of the most successful space missions of the European Space Agency. After that, I decided to found Picosat. Actually, satellite telecommunication systems occupy large volumes and are not compatible with small satellite design. Large satellite systems with massive operating costs or small satellites provide low transmission performance. RadioSat, our first product, represents the first solution to these pain points. Three are the key values. First, RadioSat has components which are not originally meant for space application. This results in low manufacturing costs. Then, working on high-frequency bands is technically in demand with superior data transmission performance. Finally, the unique modular miniaturized design allows meeting the current market needs, easy adaptive customization to future upgrades and new protocols as by 5G. The market opportunity is now extraordinary. The SATCOM field is projected to grow at a rate of 17%, the global satellite market 20%, a perfect conjunction for RadioSat. The satellite type of the small satellite segment is projected to grow at the highest rate by product, and Siva is expected to be the largest segment. Europe space is one of the few sectors that in 2019 has shown a growth rate. Italy has played a key role. Its contribution to research rising by 16%, important to public spending. Picosat target customers are small satellite operators and manufacturers. These firms are looking for high-performance miniaturized telecommunication systems. Most producers are working on low-frequency band, but this market is saturated with high-level competition, low-performance and performing systems. Developers working on high-frequency systems include human firms, mostly from the US, with stringent export regulation, from Singapore and UK. The stage of development is similar. RadioSat has advantages in terms of form factor and modularity. Picosat has just accomplished the qualification campaign of RadioSat. The next step is to land on the market and become a reference company for telecommunication products for small satellites. To achieve that, Picosat is seeking a total amount of 1.2 million euros to fuel the next stage of company growth, industrial manufacturing, pre-order fulfillment, in orbit demonstration and marketing. Picosat is a team of 10 people with strong management experience in the space and industrial field. The key team members are myself, founder and managing director, Mario, co-founder and technical advisor, Giorgio, CTO, Federico, Project Manager, Arianna, Business Development Manager. 50 years after the moon landing, the space is used by the community, but still the space is not serving it. Space shall become an accessible environment. In order to achieve that, we shall use cost, time-efficient and performance solutions. Small satellites and radiosat are part of the story.
And the least but not the least, let's see now the pitch of Latitude 40.
Good morning. My name is Gaetano Volpe and I am the CEO of Latitude 40. We use space data to create information for sustainable and resilient city and place through dashboards and mobile apps for citizens. What is the problem? Smart city needs complex system for data collection related to the dimension of the area to be monitored, data availability and consistency, and the need of data scientists and experts in the digital twin domain. We offer a unified data analytics platform based on 3 pillars: satellite images, artificial intelligence and automation, dashboard and mobile apps. A fully automated platform that allows to create a virtually endless number of applications with a zero-code approach. Our platform manages all the value chain from the data collection, from satellite and drone images, IoT sensor and demographic data, and use a building block approach with a single blocks that perform specific analysis based on artificial intelligence. The results can be analyzed in dashboard, mobile apps, or through connector in e-government application. We offer a very simple customer journey that simplifies for everyone the access to the remote sensing data in zero time. To have understandable information related to how to optimize the green areas in the city or identify the warmest part of the city, and for citizens to plan green and unpolluted routes and to identify best area where to live. Our customers are municipalities, real estate agency and investment company, and citizens to increase the transparency, the quality of life, and the environmental monitoring awareness. This is an example of what we are doing in Naples, where we analyze with a single passage of the satellite green area, heat bubbles in the city, and the pollution level. All these layers are mixed in a single index representative of the quality of life. We analyze also other aspects, as the coastline and the illegal buildings. We are 4 founders with more than 20 years of experience in satellite and IT projects. One of us is also a PhD in remote sensing, and we have a team of 8 people with multidisciplinary knowledge from GIS to data science and IT and cloud. We have several partners for smart cities from space, and we have letter of interest from 10 cities in Europe to start the service in 2021. What we are looking for? We are looking for an investment to boost our activities, to accelerate our project development, and to hire new people for international expansion. We are on the market, we serve different sectors, we monitor more than 10,000 hectares in the agriculture, we are other customers in railways, in grids, and in urban. Thank you.
So these were the 4 finalists, and now we are ready to see the verdict of the jury, to which I also address my gratitude, specifically to Fondazione Edoardo Amaldi and the Italian Space Agency, as well as to the efforts of the organizers Fondazione Edoardo Amaldi and Fiere di Roma. I will please now Alessandro to play the announcement video. So many congratulations to Neutron and PicoSats. Your effort today has been awarded, so the floor is now to the winners.
Their shine. Marcus and Anna, you can came on the stage. Okay.
The Fondazione Amaldi agency for hosting the competition and for selecting us. I mean, at Neutron Star Systems, what we're trying to do is bring something really disruptive to the space industry and a new technology which will change the paradigm, especially for high-powered space missions. And most importantly, will give Europe the chance to be a pioneer in spaceflight. So this is a hard challenge in what's maybe a typically conservative industry, but every recognition we get is a step forward in this direction, and this is a big help for us. So thank you very much. I'd just like to also extend the thanks, firstly, to our team who are working extremely hard and supporting everything we do. To our advisory board, especially David Hindley, who's been helping us a lot in the last months, and Professor Georg Hedrich from the University of Stuttgart, without whom none of this would be possible. And most importantly, to my partner, my co-founder Manuel, who started this whole project nearly 4 years ago now, and built everything from the ground up and trusted me as well to come with him on this journey and stand by his side. So we're very grateful. Thank you very much for the award, and we're looking forward really to taking part in next year's event. And of course, if anyone has any questions or would like to find out more about us, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll pop our website on the chat as well. We're always happy to spread word of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we call on the stage Anna Gregorio. Okay. We can hear you and see you,
Sorry
Anna.
for that, my PC is not working anymore. Anyway, thank you for this award. It's really a great honor, especially for this kind of event, which is fully dedicated to the new space economy. So PicoSat is really a small company, at least by now, and it's a spin-off of the University of Trieste. And we are located in Area Science Park, one of the largest technology park in Europe. But we are in a small town in a corner of Italy, but really is well known in Italy to be the city of science and technology. So space could definitely not miss. Well, it was not easy to start the company, the PicoSat company, but now we have a really great team. It's always a pleasure to enter in PicoSat in the morning and meet a number of brilliant professionals, but also enjoyable persons. Yes, this morning it was said that the space is sort of Formula One in the technology field, but I think we are ready to make it larger. Space shall become a more accessible environment, agile, fast, and cost-effective solutions shall become the future of space. So let me go to the thanks. I think first I have to thank my full team, which was always supporting me, and Ariane in particular, which is always working, every day working with me in all this kind of activities, also preparing the pitch itself. Also, the university is always supportive in my regard, so I also thanks the university, and of course my family is not just a support, it's probably they also bearing myself. Finally, of course, last but not least, the NSE forum. I look to see you again next year in person, hopefully. And all the sponsors, the Amaldi Foundation and the Italian Space Agency. Hope this award, which is a great honor for me, I have say, and for the full PICSAT team, we open a new door and opportunities in the near future. So let me thanks all of you again for all this, also for the organization of this event. Thank you.
So many congratulations again, and thank you for your speeches and your presentations, and thank you all for your participations. I will be now pleased to leave the floor to the Professor Roberto Battiston.
Okay. Good morning, Professor. The
So
stage
I
is
should
yours.
push speaker now, right? Correct? So anticipating to it about the quality of the contribution on the level of the discussion which has been accompanying the various interventions. We are really satisfied for this great achievement. In a few minutes, we will have the closing remarks, but for the time being, I will just spend the next 5 minutes to introduce another award. And this other award is about a person which has made incredible contributions to space through all his career, a person which knows the events which have accompanied the great successes of the International Space Station, of the main satellites where Italy has contributed, of many of the ESA achievements, since he was directly involved all through his career to the design, implementation, integration, and execution of major events and programs. So it is my pleasure, my really deep pleasure, to introduce you Piero Messidoro as the recipient of the 2020 New Space Economy ExpoForum Award for his career of achievement in space. So I would like to invite Piero on stage. Great, Piero. I do see you. Welcome on the stage of NSE 2020, and we are really extremely happy, personally, but also as a team, of having you recognized for your uniquely long and successful career in space. So we are awarding you this NSE plate, which we hope you will keep in your memorabilia as an important recognition by the community. And I would really like you to take the floor and say a few words about what you did all through your career and what you are doing right now, because you are not at all inactive in this moment. Please, Piero, take the stage.
Thank you very much, Roberto. It's an honor for me to have your introduction first and to receive this recognition. I thank very much the organizer of this event and you personally, the Fondazione Amaldi and the Italian Space Agency. And I am really proud to be mentioned in such a contest, because I consider new space economy in front of us, already in place, but in front of us. And as you said, I still consider myself young since more time, as I normally say. And I am really happy to have a few minutes just to highlight what I tried to do in my more than 43 years now in the space field. As you know, I started many years ago in Air Italia, which was the name of a company which finally came to Thales Alenia Space in the present days. I want just to highlight a few things because the years were many, but these things are a sort of demonstration how technology's transfer is important in our business and in our life. And for example, when I am a living example of the transfer, because I am nuclear engineer, and I moved immediately for the reason that you probably know from the history. Nuclear field was not so growing in Italy, and I was requested to join space as a thermal hydraulic expert. This was the first example in my life of transfer of technology, and I was happy to start with about 25 people in Torino at the time, the space adventure. When I, just in the few years at the beginning of my professional life, I was requested to face a very new problem. Olympus satellite, the telecommunication is a satellite, which was conceived in Sirius, was, I think, one of the first example of a small production in this field. Now we have a lot of huge example of constellation and so on. At that time, it was really a challenge, and we tried to test this satellite in NASA JPL and in Canada, in Florida David Laboratory in Ottawa. And we were facing the first time the problem how to address testing solution. And we worked, for example, on thermovision application to radiators and to infrared lamps application for a thermal testing. And this was in the direction to optimize the cost of these facilities and to reach a competitive result in view of a serious production. This is just a small example at the beginning. After a certain number of years, I was happy with my colleagues in Thales Alenia Space, for example, to open other fields like virtual reality application to space. We were conceiving now more than 30 years ago, sorry for remembering such a long time, the first virtual reality lab in Thales Alenia Space. At that time, Alenia Spazio. We changed a lot of the names. And this was really a sort of anticipation of the digital mockups that we are looking in these very days. And we spoke about in the new Space Economy Forum. And just after a few years, we decided to work a lot on technology and new technologies for space exploration. And I remember the STEPS project. STEPS project was the first example of cooperation between the small, medium enterprises, big industry, and academies. And we were thinking about to develop new technologies with a spinning process from the automotive worlds, from textile worlds, other application field to space, and then vice versa, spin out these technologies which were improved by the space application, again to the classical world. And we thought about hydrogen fuel cell, docking, berthing in space with robotics, new robotics automation system, inflatable stretcher, many other applications like this. And after that, I would like to mention another point which is very applicable to new space economy context. We started with the CTNA, the National Technology Aerospace, the project Sapere Strong. I was together with a friend, Massimo Comparini, that you well know, on this project, and we, for the Torino side of the company, we decided to apply in the so-called strong project, Sistemi e Tecnologie per l'operatività nazionale globale, a very important, we say, acronym. But just to say that we thought for the first time, and this was happened 10 years ago, in this contest. So I don't want to bore you with all the steps, but just to say that today I am helping the Piedmont region in supporting small medium enterprises in their international context. And I would like to continue my contribution to new space economy, for example, in this way, promoting again spin-in and spin-out with space technologies, and support the young people, the startups, and the people which are coming with the passion of space. So I would like to suggest just a few keywords for you at the end of my short speech. You need the open mind. Without open innovation, without curiosity, I use some terminology that are coming familiar on Mars, for example. If you don't use curiosity and you don't have open mind, it's difficult to reach your objective. And second, I would like to talk about teamwork. Many of the things that I mentioned, I didn't do alone. I was in team. I was supporting cooperation, not only in a single company, but also among companies, among the small, medium enterprises, startup, etc. And I would like to mention also perseverance. Perseverance, because you need to face big challenges, and you have to still keep your willingness and your, we say, tendency to win and to cooperate. So thank you very much again to all, and to Roberto in particular, for this really recognition. Thank you very much.
Pietro, thank you so much. I mean, your words are not only interesting to listen because you made a short history of space. I mean, a young person could learn from your experience really a lot, but also because you gave inspiration words for the future generation, and underlining our space, keep young, as in your case, because it's continuously exposing people to the unknown, to the fascination, to the dream, and challenging them to achieve even greater results. And this is an engine which is really very much instrumental and beneficial for space economy. So we are all enjoying this strength of space. Thank you again, Piero, for these words.
Thank you. And have a nice day.
Fiera di Roma, please join me on stage. Okay, Maria Cristina is there, so I think it's going to work. Great, you are there. Welcome, Maria Cristina. And Mauro should also join us in a moment. Excellent. Mauro, you are there. So we agreed that Mauro will give us some fresh information about the numbers of this edition. Then Maria Cristina will say a few words and we'll make some conclusive remarks. So Mauro, why you don't start, please?
Thanks, Professor. Professor Battiston. At first, it's quite tough to come in, Mr. Messidoro. But however, as first thing, let me bring to our community, to the the CEO of Roma, who is unfortunately not in the position to be online today as he would have surely wished. Then the conviction that the new space economy needs an event of its own was surely confirmed 1 year ago already, and reconfirmed although the pandemic has obliged us to switch what about the figures? NSE ExpoForum 2020 has brought us participants in 44 countries. 32% of the people came from Italy. Figures have been 130 in total, involved in plenary sessions, in the 12 technical sessions, and in 16 side events. The exhibition area consisted in 64 virtual booths from large companies, SMEs, associations, authorities, and 206 exhibitors. In addition to that, 268 were profiles at the Enterprise Europe Network brokerage event that was held on December the 10th. That was also part of our event, and 240 are the profiles that took part in meetings, that were in total 126. Of these, 126 among Italian profiles and 200 among transnationals. But going beyond the figures, yes, Roma would take this opportunity also to thank the eminent professionals of our scientific committee, at first Professor Battiston, the authorities who have endorsed and supported us, all our partners and sponsors. A special mention goes to CITAL, to HORIC, to ISA, and to Space Up, and to the authority of Lazio District, Regione Lazio, that together with Union Camere Lazio, that is the Union of the Chamber of Commerce, and the Roma Chamber of Commerce, showed again their concrete support to the space economy field in this district. Last but not least, our thanks go to, naturally, to the Italian Space Agency and to Fondazione Amaldi and its people, because with them we are so strongly connected and focused on the NSE ExpoForum project. So, see you in next December 2021 from 9 to 11.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mauro, for your words. Really a fantastic achievement. Those numbers really shows that we were right when we decided to have this digital edition. I think it's a very good wish for next year. Maria Cristina Falvella, please, it's now your turn to make some conclusive remark.
Thanks, Roberto. Thanks. I just have a few words. We are at the closing remarks of New Space Economy ExpoForum 2020, 2 very exciting days of keynote speech, workshop, seminar, and webinars. NSA has been and will be always a new challenge, a strong commitment to deliver you all an interesting update picture of what is going on and mostly what came next in space economy at worldwide level. The success of the format and the word appreciation of many participants from different 43 countries, as Mauro said, encourage us to go on and arrange a next edition in 2021. Let me just conclude expressing again my grateful thanks to both Edoardo Amaldi Foundation and Fiera di Roma teams for the huge work done to make NSE 2020 Digital Edition a great event. And of course, last but not least, On behalf of all organizers, speakers, participants, I am very pleased to warmly acknowledge Professor Roberto Battiston, Chair of the New Space Economy ExpoForum International Scientific Committee, for having developed and organized the very outstanding program of these 2 days, with the competence and the strategic vision that characterize every initiative led by Professor Battiston. Roberto, it was going not to be easy to run such a challenge event without your determination, passion, and commitment. So a very special big thanks from everybody. Looking forward to seeing everybody again in 2021, I'm wishing you all the best and for a fruitful and great new year. I give then the floor back to Professor Roberto Battiston.
Thank you so much, Cristina, for your words. Really, I appreciate that a lot, and thank you, Mauro, again. And now it's my turn to say a few words and then to make some conclusive remark. So indeed, Maria Cristina said that we like challenges, and indeed, when we started with the New Space Economy ExpoForum, or some discussion with Pietro Piccinetti, it was sometime in the beginning of 2019. And it was quite clear from the beginning, it was a beautiful, great, but crazy idea, because we were starting something new. And as you know, when you start something new in this field, where there are already many players, many important conferences and international events, even much bigger than what we can even consider, starting a new thing can be really risky. But we said we should try. There is a potential for a new format. Most important, a new topic. New space economy is really something which is going to be getting the attention by people from space, but most important from non-space. It can be international and European, because Europe deserves this kind of format, and the space economy is growing and is growing fast, and will probably give us some satisfaction and some rewards. And indeed, the first edition has demonstrated that the idea was right and the idea was great. Almost 4,000 participants, 150 companies, major space agencies participating, and was really an excellent result. And then at that moment we said, look, after this success, we keep going, and we announce the 2020 edition, because the idea demonstrated to be a great idea, and the challenge was over. We were wrong on this second part. The challenge was not over at all, because COVID-19 came on, and we as a community, but the world as a global entity, had to face a very difficult period, in particular a period very challenging for exhibition, for forums, for conferences. Most of them, almost all of them, have been cancelled, and very few kept going in a digital format. So we said, okay, it is a great idea, we demonstrated that, it remains a challenge. And we take it again, and we were together deciding with Maria Cristina Falvella, that time was fully on board as the president of the Amaldi Foundation, with Pietro Piccinetti, Mauro, and the teams of the Amaldi Foundation, Lorenzo Scatena, and the team in Amaldi Foundation. And I would like to recall also Alessandro Senzameno, because we work very strongly together about putting together the program, the international committee, which made a real important contribution. We were able to put together a good program for the second year in a totally, fully digital mode. And digital is a new challenge, but at the same time, there are also some opportunities. And the quality of the program, the internationalization of the program, of the 2020 edition was also benefiting from the difficulty that we had in dealing with a digital version. Of course, the digital version, we don't have the normal stand. We have to boot digital. We have to have digital boot. But from the point of view of participants, speakers, I mean, really, we were able to collect some of the most authoritative and interesting, motivating, and fascinating speakers all over the world. And this has been a great satisfaction. When you are in difficult time, you try to make use of the resources you have in the best possible way. And indeed, it happens, it works, because the numbers are really very, very much encouraging. So Maria Cristina and Mauro just announced next year, 9 to 11 of December edition. So I think we have a tradition of having demonstrated that it's a great idea, but to have to tackle a new challenge. So which will be the new challenge for next year? The new challenge for next year is to get a COVID-free, in-person version of New Space Economy ExpoForum. We should really be in a situation we can make our contribution. We have not the magic wand to solve anything, but we really hope that the world will be back to normal, and we can put together the tremendous potential of the digital world with the needed condition of in-presence meeting. The two things together will make really a very successful event, and we really wish that this will be the reality in a year from now. So with this final remark, and thanking everybody, because this kind of effort is the result of a team effort. As Piero Messidoro recalled us a few minutes ago, there is nothing we can do, even great idea cannot develop by themselves. It is a result of great teamwork, the collaboration between the Amaldi Foundation, with the sponsorship of ASI, and the Fiera di Roma, with the experience that the team in Fiera di Roma has in organizing international events, and the community of space economy and space is really a very powerful combination. Our international links and friends has really helped us so much, and they will continue to participate in the coming years. And we can only grow. We can only grow in a context, I repeat, where we are going to meet again in person and making the best out of this tremendous potential which space economy is providing to us. With those words, I wish you a good weekend. I close with this version of the Space Economy ExpoForum in 2020, and I wish you a good year to come, an improving situation, and next year, about this time in December, in person. Thank you. And now is my turn to push the end and to say that the conference is over.